Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. This one's going to be on superpowers. It's been a while since I've done one of these readings, I think. Could be completely wrong. But this one's going to be like a super cool one because it was inspired by today. I was getting some sun on my skin, and probably for the first time in my life, I was able to see like my own aura. You know, I think there's some technologies out there which enable you to kind of see your aura, but I was able to kind of see my aura with I wouldn't even want to say my own eyes, because who knows how I was visualizing this, but I could see it. And one thing that I realized from observing my aura, or at least part of my aura, I couldn't see all of it, but I could see part of it, is it really reminded me of the anime or manga show Dragon Ball Z. I think I've had this thought before, but really today it became like absolutely clear that in that TV show, you can feel free to Google it if you haven't heard of it, Dragon Ball Z, when these characters are powering up, that's their auras. Now, I think that's just impressive because as an adult, I've come to that realization. And as a child, it was just a thing that they did. But for the first time, I realized that's what was going on. Now, the Japanese might not call it auras. Who knows? The word aura could come from Japan. I've got no idea. But I came to that realization. So what we're going to do today is we're going to sit on your auras, and I'm going to unpick your superpowers from your aura pattern, which I sense. So this is why the reading is going to be super cool, because we're going to be able to analyze the aura patterns and relate those to, if you like, your superpower traits. So without further ado, I know I always say that incorrectly, but let's get stuck into it. Pile number ones, pile number twos, and pile number threes. Starting always with pile number ones. Okay, pile ones. Okay, so I'm going to draw a character here. I'm going to try and keep it more or less genderless. Although someone's going to come at me, I'm sure. And we are taking some inspiration from the wonderful Dragon Ball Z with this. Obviously not ripping off their style, keeping it to if you pause, but I've got the character there, so quite easily I could put a bit of hair on that, or some hair down here, and it could be feminine. I know it's more edging towards the masculine, but give me a fucking break, okay? So, pile number ones, what I want you to do is I want you to pause on your own aura, and you don't have to say it out loud because I'm not there to listen to you, but take mental note of what kind of words come through when you're thinking about your aura. You could think of colors, you could think of shapes, you can think of patterns, you can think of temperatures and senses. Oh gosh, I can feel my left arm tingling. Shit. So I'm definitely feeling someone's energy already. That is bizarre. Don't know if I've ever had that in a reading. It's like electric. Okay, so that might be one of your words. Part one. Jeez. Okay, so sit on that energy. I'm going to give you just a minute to pause on that. And then I'm going to get stuck into what I feel. And then we're going to explain that energy. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now if you need more time, pause the video part ones. But I'm going to get stuck into this kind of aura wave or pattern. So this has turned very quickly from Dragon Ball Z, I'm gonna kick your ass, into unicorn happiness, which is funny. It's not quite capturing the energy because this wouldn't be multicolored. To me, I've got colours like blue and purple coming through. Kind of a lot more of a serious energy than this is conveying. It's like almost this person is singing instead of powering up, ready to kick ass. No shade though, part ones, you might be this type of person. But if I was to give some key words here, so your superpower, although we're not going to dwell on the word superpower in this reading, although we are talking about that, it's more like key traits of your aura relating to how you can make those superpowers, or if they already are. So I got the animal, an animal that came through. I'm not sure if you would even call it an animal, but the electric eel. So I'm not sure, can electric eels actually electrocute you? I'm not sure. Is that like a myth? Are electric eels even, do they exist? Because when you think about it, what an abnormal thing. When you think about it, if electric eels exist, what's saying that we can't emit electricity as well? In the same way. What is the science behind this, an electric eel being able to electrocute things? Hey, look, superpowers are real, y'all. Superpowers are real. If electric eels exist, get in the comments, please. I don't know what to call you guys. Like, I don't know if you're soul family. I need to come up with a word for the tribe. But please get in the comments. Do electric eels actually exist in the way that they can actually electrocute? Because if they can, there must be some science out there which explains how they do it. And then if eels can do it, potentially humans can do it too. Potentially. Due to evolution, due to whatever. That's your superpower. You can fucking electrocute people. So that might be, like, obviously, we're not going to get too woo-woo. I'm not saying that you can hold out your hands and just be zapping people. But potentially, yeah, you know, like on a on a lower vibration, it might be the ability to shock people, you know, kind of getting shocks, electric. And like I said, I felt that in my left hand when we first started. Man, this reality just gets stranger and stranger the more you dive into spirituality. It's like, what the hell did you like look down that rabbit hole, Zed? Happy just being like a architect in my architect world. God damn. Why did I open that door? Why did I go into the damn labyrinth? It's like how Neo must have felt when he took the fucking red pill. Oh shit. It's too late. Morpheus, like, gotcha, bitch. Ah. Oh, guys. Oh, guys, you do make me laugh. Like, I know I'm making myself laugh. But you gotta understand that it's your energies coming through, so it's like, this is so funny. Okay, wait. Let's rein it back. Let's rein it back. Let's rein it back. Do you understand what I'm saying though, part one? You know, sometimes when you go into this world of like realizing that shit is just illusion upon illusion, and then like spirituality isn't just this like. Do you remember when you was a child and you just, well, at least for me, when I used to go to church, I used to go into the church and I didn't really understand shit what was going on. All these hymns and this echoey cold church and people connecting to something that I had no idea about. And then you start to educate yourself as an adult and you're like, oh man, there was something kind of blissful. I guess that's why they say ignorance is bliss, don't they? Like when you start actually going into this world, it's like, when you realise the complexities of it, there's something quite strange about the whole experience, because you can't go back. It's like once you take in that knowledge, you can't go back to being that child who is unaware. And then here you go, we might argue as well, just to throw a spanner into the works, that the child is maybe in many ways more enlightened than the adult, because the child sees things without the need of explanation. Like I can think about when I was a child as well. Okay, I for sure I felt the presence of God in the church on occasion, but I didn't really need an explanation for it, you know? I didn't need to know the details. It was enough to feel it. And it's the same for like, you know, when a child watches a show, your favorite TV show, we're very quick as adults to put it into the category of fantasy. But then in the child's mind, the child kind of knows that it's partially real. That's why they relate to it. Now, that world that is shown in the fantasy may not exist here on Earth, but it may well exist somewhere else, currently, in the past, the present, or the future. And no one can tell you that it's not fact when you think about it, because it could well be. And like I said, there's a beauty in that as a child, that the child is able to kind of go to that fantasy place without the logical definition, the logical proof that it exists. That's a beautiful thing. And then as we grow into adulthood, we're consistently told how those visions, those fantasies, those stories can't be real. Only to find out the further you go down that rabbit hole of spirituality, metaphysics, that actually those things, those fantasies are real, can be real. And it's a full cycle, it's a full loop in the story of Dragon Ball Z, as I said in the introduction. Like from something being complete, made-up story to now at my current adult age, realizing, even in this world, that idea has a fair amount of truth to it. It's a moment to pause. I guess the question I was asking there, Par Ones, is why do we do that to ourselves as humans? Why do we almost restrict ourselves? The only message I was getting from Spirit there was like the work of the devil, but I didn't want to sound too gloomy, but that's the only thing that was coming through. You know, the message that was coming through is that the devil works so hard to make you forget who you are, and God tries so hard to make you remember who you are. So, on that beautiful note, Par Number Ones, before this gets too long, I think I gave you what you needed there. It was a long stream of wisdom and ideas, and I'm not going to call it rambling because it was beautiful, at least for me, to speak on those areas. But there's this superpower here of like electricity. Just take that away with you, that electric eel. So this wave here is almost representing like watery energy. You may be a Cancer, Scorpio. What's the one I'm missing? Cancer, Scorpio. It's probably the one that you are that I'm missing. Gosh, I'm not going to leave this reading till I get it now. Oh, my mind's going blank like that. How are you doing that to me, Spirit? Pisces. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You might be a Pisces or have Pisces in your moon or ascendant. It tends to be the one that I forget, you know, a typical example of the devil at work, kind of again, not to put any paranoia out there for people or negative energy, but you know, like that feeling is usually an energy block. So you can just kind of put up your energy, you can put up your aura to not let those attacks penetrate you. I do believe that that's true. You can actually do that. So you can put up this energetic force field, and that stops you from, you know, it's almost like people doing spell, like, well, not people, but like that dark energy doing spell work on you. And it's hard to even put this into words without it sounding woo-woo, although this video already is woo-woo, but like, I do like to make my videos kind of somewhat practical, although they are out of this, or they're kind of the spiritual, out of this world. Don't even know how to say that. You know what I'm trying to say though. They're not conventional, these readings. This isn't the type of thing, for anyone who does these type of tarot or even spiritual readings, it's not mainstream. It's not this kind of thing that you see on Netflix. It's not kind of socially accepted. But I do try and bring it down to something practical when I can. So, pile number ones, like I said, take away that electric eel energy. Remember also to, it's kind of almost reminding me, I know this is turning into a long reading, but these are ways that you can electrocute others, I guess. But these are the ways that you can electrocute the incoming attacks. So these almost represent, almost like, you know, the ninja throws its little daggers. These are like them getting thrown at you and them deflecting off because your electric shield is too strong for them to penetrate. So just how I was attacked then, and I was, because I feel it, I understood what it was, with not even being able to remember Pisces. Although I've got Pisces in my own chart. Sometimes when something leaves you like that, it's not coincidence. It's like, it's that demonic energy not wanting you to get the message that you're meant to get. And that happens to us in life all the time. You know, it's like, you know, like it's like a good Marvel movie. The good guys don't always win, at least initially. Sometimes they get the shit beaten out of them, and that's like the message you're not getting to you, only for it to come to you later on, once good has strengthened up. It's kind of just a good metaphor of life, really. So sometimes when you feel like things aren't working in your favor, it's not because God doesn't love you, it's because even God's word gets blocked sometimes. On that note, pile number ones, I'm going to leave you to it. Thank you for being here, as always. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Or don't even feel free to. Please do like, comment, and subscribe, especially the comments. I ain't too fussy if you guys are liking the video, but comment in there, because it's always good to get some form of community building. Give us a comment, even if it's a thumbs up or a heart, whatever you fancy. And obviously check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. Pile ones, it was a pleasure. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Pile number twos. Now pile number one's just got a ridiculously long message. Don't get jealous. this is definitely leaning on the feminine energy. Can't lie about that, y'all. Is what it is. And in pile number ones, I was trying my best not to lean it. But there we have it. Doesn't matter if you're a male watching this. Just remember, it's probably your superpower maybe lays in your feminine energy. But gosh, we're in a society at the moment where everything's a little bit confusing anyway. So if I was you, pile number twos, and attack me if you will, just don't even pay too much attention to gender right now, or feminine, masculine energy. There's too many opinions. I think whenever that happens in society, things become clouded. It's much better to observe and then make your own assumption once the dust settles. Now, I think we've got a lovely clam mark there. Oh, you can't really see it, thank God. Where my hand was, it's a little bit hot today. And what I want you to do, pile number twos, is we're gonna explore your aura patterns, and then through that kind of discover your superpower through that. So I'm gonna count to 10. I want you to think of different words, different even sounds that come to mind, different elements, different shapes, different speeds, different ratios of things that come to mind. I'm gonna count to 10, but if you need longer than that, just pause the video after 10 and you're gonna see if any of these parallels relate to what I end up drawing for your aura. Okay, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quite interesting with that as well. I was getting the word echo coming through. I don't believe that my voice was actually echoing. It could be. It could be just a literal thing. But I was getting a sense there of echoing. In terms of colours, I was actually getting yellow. Damn, that's a pretty damn circular damn aura right there. Fuck my life. That's a pretty circular circle. So if you're hearing that stickiness, that's literally my clammy hand. Not much I can do about that. Okay, so I'm not sure if I just said this, but colour palette, yellow. I was actually funnily enough, I was getting the energy of the sun. Now, usually the sun is associated with the masculine, the moon with the feminine, which is again falls beautifully with the introduction. Because it's just never it's never as simple as we try and make it sometimes, is it? Like I'm not gonna lie to you, this weren't the moon. This was yellow, and this was almost like the sun's radiance. So if I was to say, without making your reading as long as pile number one's, your superpower is to do with the light. It would be, I guess you could relate this to kind of Superman, Superwoman energy, because Superman gets his, I'm not sure about Superwoman, haven't looked into it, but Superman definitely gets his energy from the sun. He flies up into the sky and he gets his energy from the sun. But with you, pile number two, if I was to make this more like a Marvel-like, it would be the equivalent of like, what would be like the, I can't even think of a character because it's not Superman. It would be the energy of like a superhero which could act like an atomic bomb. Could just, like almost that heart chakra just going off and then just wiping everyone out. They do show it in some movies. It's usually a bit more like the psychic person who can do that, but I kind of got more of an energy here of the sun. So more like a heat bomb opposed to a psychic bomb, if that makes any sense to you. Pile number twos. Now, so how does that, all we have to do with these kind of superpower readings is, in order to make it translate into our 3D reality, is we just kind of humble that energy. How does that look in terms of your superpowers in this reality? It would be someone who shines their light. It would be very much a Leo energy. It would be someone who is a superstar, some form of leader, some form of, like, when they are in their flow, they are seen, they are heard. You know who this person is when they walk through the door. Do you understand? Like that's it in its 3D form. I'd also say this kind of character can burn people. I'm not saying that they do it intentionally. And we're talking about you here as well, parties. I know I'm talking in third person or whatever it's called, but third person, second person, whatever it's called. I feel like you have the capability of kind of unintentionally burning people. It reminds me of the energy, like if you are a woman, other women are jealous of you. If you're a man, then other men are jealous of you. There's a sense of maybe confidence in this energy. That's probably how it's portrayed as a superpower. But just remember, like, nothing is impossible in this reality. So who says in 2,000 years from now, people's chakras won't be visible in their body, for example? Just in the same way, like, in some of my other readings I've talked about, there's certain fish which at the bottom of the ocean, they glow and they emit colours. I guess in a simple way, like all it would take is for the skin even to evolve in a way where it reflects the sun, reflects light. In super basic terms, that's all it would take. And, like, I wasn't really necessarily talking about that. I was talking about like more of an internal power being seen externally, but really, um, if you think about it, you could even create some form of tattoo which just reflected light somehow. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be very healthy on one's skin, because whatever material you're using is probably not all that. I don't know the word, but you see what I'm getting at. That was like a split second of thought to give to that. Who knows what humans are going to look like 2,000 years from now? And I think sometimes what we forget is we don't even need to change that much, but our perception can change more. So think about humans being able to see more with their naked eye. So you wouldn't even need to have the auras or chakras physically expressed. It's the eye can see them. The eye can see the energy. It's the eye that evolves. The optics evolve. Our senses evolve. The body doesn't even need to evolve. It's just what we see evolves. And one could argue the more that we seek the knowledge, the more that the thing appears anyway. That's just some food for thought for you, pile number twos. I hope I didn't bore you too much with that. But essentially, yeah, you are you've got that sun energy. That's your superpower. There is something quite Venus-y about this as well. Something Taurus-y. I believe Libra is the masculine of Venus. If you haven't dived deep into those energies or understood those signs in your charts, I recommend to do so. But yeah, in general, I think we nailed it there, pal twos. So, as always, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And before my voice goes, thank you for being here. Take care. Wish me luck with pile threes. Alright, pile threes. Let's do this. Still sniffling away. What kind of life is this? Got that feminine energy coming through again. Actually, I'm not going to colour. I can leave that. It's quite nice as it is. Okay, so pile number threes. Probably quite new to what's going on here. I am going to tap into your aura patterns, and through those, I'm going to give you a link to your superpower. Now, before I get started, I want you to use your own intuition, and I want you to think about the energies that are coming through for you. Take mental note of that. I want you to think colour, I want you to think vibration. I want you to think patterns of the aura. I want you to think speed of the aura. I want you to think senses of the aura, power of the aura, things like this. Now I'm going to give you 10 seconds, but if you need longer, when I get to the end of the counting, just pause the video, give yourself longer, feel free to even write down the words and sit on that before I tap in. So with that said, I'll start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so as I said, if you need more time, feel free to pause the video. What colours do you see? I was getting blues for this one. This is quite nice because all the readings have been a little bit different, or very different. And you know, like, I can't ignore that there was definitely something coming from the hands here. So this is reminding me of kind of that Taurus energy flow, but just in a different way. That energy is usually coming from the chakras, but here for some reason it's coming from the hands, but the reaction is the same. We've still got that Taurus-y energy. And as you can see here, I hope we're still in camera, we've got the Taurus pattern. Now this could continue on, and maybe that's something quite beautiful about your reading. Pile number 3 is maybe not the sharpest, in quotes, strongest aura that's come through today, but definitely the most widespread, you know, definitely the one that reaches the furthest out of all piles. I don't know how to explain this in energy, but it would be closest to, the air. It would be like air, you know. We all know that if I was to light a match and create fire, it's got an intensity at that point of where the fire is, but how much light that can spread is quite limited, at least in a match. Now I'm not saying all you have to do is look at the sun and realise, okay, shit, that lights up, you know, the majority of the planet in one given time. But then it's like, but think about space though. Think about the dark matter, if that's what it's called. Think of that. Do you understand? That's where you are, pile 3s. How much space does that cover? You know, the sun in its greatness, it can't keep Pluto warm. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's no shade, literally, no shade on the sun. But the sun, with all its might, can't keep Pluto a warm, living planet. Do you see what I'm saying? So that black matter, that space energy, if you like, doesn't get the acknowledgement of the sun per se, but its vastness is unmatched. Its ability to consume is unmatched. And gosh, even as I'm saying this, it's kind of beautiful, kind of scary, because I think it's almost really touching into that true dark feminine energy, which is like, I guess, which is why like my inner masculine at that point is like I'm not gonna lie, it's like fucking suppress that shit. That shit is deadly. Get that. I'm gonna control what I'm about to say there, but shit. I'm not gonna lie though. That is the real and rawest example of where we are at gender wars at the moment. Is that dark feminine energy has such a power, such a vastness, that it's almost like, I don't know, I'm getting that, I'm getting the fight of that, the sun energy now, saying like, well, I've got to shine that light, because we all dead otherwise. If you let that dark feminine energy completely win, take over, ain't gonna be pretty for none of us. Gonna consume us all. And then the same can be said for the masculine energy, you know, the dark masculine energy. I'm sure the feminine and the masculine can look on that energy and just look at that toxic ego and go, that sun can kill us all too. Like literally, the war can kill us. Letting that take over, too much sun, burn us all alive. Just getting greedy, getting carried away with that light. That light got to their head. There's a part of every feminine, I'm sure, which kind of looks at the masculine. It's not even, I think, it's so true that there's a part of a woman, I believe every woman, that looks at a man when he's a bit too big for his own boots and wants to bring him down a peg, take him off his high horse a little bit. And a man with enough intelligence realizes that's a healthy thing, because if that ego gets too big, it's the destruction of us all. It's his own selfishness, his own ability to see things from his own perspective, selfish perspective, can destroy everything around him. And it's kind of almost that same feeling that we get sometimes that makes us cringe with a mother who loves their son too much, who's a little bit too clingy with the son. Like, I feel like I was always at a disadvantage with my mum, because she's very much on the other spectrum of that. Somewhat detached. Love to you though, Mum. Love you dearly, with all my heart. Spiritually and physically. I love you. Love you, y'all. Love you. But I used to always look at those mums who used to really, what's the word? Just nurture, like really nurture their sons or their children. And be like, oh man, why isn't my mum like that? And then the older I got, the more I realised when the mum is too much like that, for one, you have a son that acts like a brat into adulthood. And two, there's a part of us all around that environment that kind of disrespects and slightly despises that mother, because we know deep down inside that they're raising a little shit, you know, that that child needs to know the lesson of no. And I'm a big fan of the world revolving around you. But every child needs to know actually the world doesn't always revolve around you. It kind of does to an extent, but like you got to know when to humble yourself too. So I think the saying of the world doesn't revolve around you is a bad saying. I think everyone should embrace that. The world does revolve around us. And even when you don't think it does, it does. Because every choice that you make today is usually in your own benefit. But that doesn't mean that we can't be loving to others. That doesn't mean that we don't know when to shut up. It doesn't mean that the world revolves around us only. No, it revolves around all of us individually. We're our own souls. We're all beautiful souls. We're all beautiful suns and beautiful moons running around this human experience. So do you understand? It's like there's a perspective tweak that can be made there, which makes that whole world revolving around us a beautiful saying. So like I said, pole number 3 is we've got energies here of blue. We've got elements here, sorry, mainly of air, could verge on wind. I guess it's got slightly that energy, if we're to bring it to Marvel, slightly of storm, but not only. Again, this character seems somewhat like it's got a fertile energy, which is interesting because we usually relate fertility with the earth signs. But it's kind of an interesting thing that you could Google. Pile number 3 is there a god or a goddess of fertility or life to do with the sky? That might be something interesting to Google. Obviously, if you find anything cool, interesting, put it in the comments for other people. And would say, yeah, so how does that look like in a superpower? I'd say we've got, I guess, like some Gemini energy in there, like communication is coming through, like being a reach. I don't know why Spirit's giving me this, but it's almost giving me like the black page, the black canvas, in order to code. For any of my coders out there, depending on what format you're using, it's like you start off with the black screen, or even imagine like the Matrix, how they've got the black backdrop and then the code, the green code goes on top of that as a layer. That would be almost like the black being the feminine and the green being the masculine energy that adds the code onto that. Pile 3s, I think, yeah, as an energy, you would almost be like kind of the all-knowing, the wise one. So we talked about storm, but it would also be like, I'm not sure if you saw the movie, gosh, what's it called? Oh, Jesus. Oh man, that's gonna annoy me. It wasn't a bad movie actually. It got bad reviews. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try and Google it for you. Pile number 3s. Okay, I got it. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Palfreys. The movie was called The Eternals, and I can't remember what the character that I was thinking of, and I can't remember exactly how the plot went, but the energies reminded me of Salma Hayek. I think her name is in the movie, Salma Hayek. So whoever she plays, it kind of gave me the vibe of her. I think she's the leader or a leader in that movie. But you know, if you want to relate it back to the masculine energy, it would almost be like Professor X in X-Men, the one who has who's kind of the leader, kind of from a distance. It would also be like, you know, the Power Rangers, when there's that big head in the light thing that kind of tells the Power Rangers what to do. They're not necessarily fighting. You never really see that dude fighting, the little head that speaks to them all. But he's kind of like the commander, you know? He's got that energy. So that's how that looks in supernatural, superpower form. I guess in 3D, to bring it down, this would be kind of CEO energy. You might be entrepreneurs, leaders, CEOs. You're not necessarily the person who's, and take no offense to this, getting your hands dirty, like grafting, but you're more in a managerial position, more in a position which is overseeing, almost being like the sky, being like the bird, the hawk that oversees, sees everyone and understands how to direct them. You're kind of everywhere and possibly nowhere at the same time. It's quite kind of godlike energy, if I'm honest. Not to give you a big ego, but it's kind of got that, and it's got that energy. And if you're anything like me, you know that all glory goes to God. There is only one God. But that's not to say that, as you know, as the Bible and other religious texts tell us, we were made in God's image. So as long as you don't let it get to your head, Palfreys, I'd say that you're embracing some of that God-like energy. If you wish to prosper more, I'd probably say, up to you completely. Remember to always humble yourself and give glory to God first, and know we're just kind of a reflection of God. And that just comes from my own experience. It's the best way to be, but take it with a pinch of salt. Palfreys, this has been a long reading for all the pals. I think, at least it's felt long. Beautiful, but long. If you've enjoyed it too, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.